Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Swing Torah. Okay, we're going to do Parshat Vayishlach. Very exciting. So in last week's Parshat Vayetze, we see that Yaakov, Jacob, is leaving Eretz Yisrael. He's leaving the land of Israel, and he's going outside. He's going to Lavan's house. So we learn from some of the Mefarshim that this is the Parsha of Golus, of exile. It represents some of the exiles we've been in, and there's this concept in the Torah of Maisa Avos Sinam Labani, that whatever Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov did, whatever our avos, our fathers did, that it's a siman, it's a sign for us, for their children, of what's going to happen to us all throughout Jewish history. So we learn a lot about how we survive in Gullus, in the exile in Parshat Vayetze. And this Parsha Vayishlach, is when we're actually leaving Gullus and going back to Eretz Yisrael. So we're like on the cusp of the Geula. We're like, this is approaching the Geula. So you could say that maybe this is the Parsha of Ikvos de Mashiach. This is the footsteps of the Mashiach. All right, so we're going to learn a lot. So we see that Yaakov, he takes his wives and he takes his children and he crosses them over the river, going back into Eretz Yisrael, and then he himself remains alone. And he's going to confront Eisav, and Eisav's coming. His brother Eisav, Esau, is coming with 400 men. So there's this great military confrontation coming. So it's a sign to us that before we finally have the Geula, maybe there's going to be some kind of massive conflict, this fight, maybe the war of Gog and Magog between the Jewish people and Edom. Okay, so it's very fascinating what happens. Let's just jump right into the Parsha and we'll see what happens here. So it says, Vayevaser Yaakov levado, vayeavek ish imo ad alos hashachar. So then Yaakov was left alone, and a man wrestled with him into the break of dawn. So it's interesting. So Rabbi Gedalia Shor in his Sefer, the Or Gedalia, he says this word levado implies that Yaakov is at a very high spiritual madrega. He's at a very high spiritual level. And levado he was saying it's related to like an achdus of Hashem, that Hashem is this unique, infinite being, and that Yaakov also was very connected to this achdus, to this unity of Hashem, and he was on a very high level. And it makes us think of Hashem hu ha'elokim ein od levado, that all aspects of Hashem, all Hashem's names, that the loving kindness, the merciful aspect of the name Hashem is also the very same being who's Elohim, who's the aspect of din and judgment and and justice, and it's all coming from Hashem, and it's all tempered with this rachamim, with this kindness and compassion, and Yaakov was fully aware of all this, that everything's coming from Hashem, and is on this very high spiritual level. So it's fascinating. He's all alone. And then who's he wrestling with? He's wrestling with some man, but he's all alone. So Chazal tells us that the man he was wrestling with is actually the Malach, an angel, and it's the Malach who has a very special role that Hashem assigned to him. So he has three roles. He is the Yeitzer HaRah, he is the evil impulse which tempts all of us, and then he is the Satan which accuses people chas v'sham in the heavenly courts, and then he is, if chas v'sham someone gets a din of they're chai with their life, he is the Malach HaMaves. He's the angel of death, and he comes. And this very Malach, this angel, is who Yaakov all alone was wrestling with. So let's go through it all, and then we'll talk much more about this. So it says, Vayare ki lo yachol lo v'yiga b'chaf yerecho, v'teka kaf yerech Yaakov b'cheav ko imo. And so when he perceived, so the Malach, when the angel perceived that he could not overcome him, he struck the ball of the thigh bone, and the ball of Yaakov's thigh bone became dislocated as he wrestled with him. So Vayomer shalcheni ki Allah hashachar, Vayomer lo asha lehacha ki im beirach tani. So this is really fascinating. He says, the Malach says, let me go, for dawn has broken. And he said, I will not let you. So Yaakov says, I will not let you go unless you have blessed me. So then he says, Vayomer ilav ma shemecha, Vayomer Yaakov. So the Malach asks him his name. He says, what is your name? And he says, Yaakov. So he says, Vayomer lo Yaakov yamer od, shimcha ki im Yisrael. And he says, and then the Malach says, no longer will be said that your name is Yaakov. No longer is your name Jacob. It says, Ki im Yisrael, but it is now Yisrael. It's now Israel. Your name is now Israel. Ki sarisa im Elokim v'im anashim vatuchal, that you wrestled with, you fought with a divine being, this Malach. You fought with this Malach who is in charge of Edom, the Tsar, the ministering angel of Edom, of the Roman Empire, and he's the Malach in charge of really evil and tempting mankind. And you wrestled with him and with men. You wrestled with Lavan and Eisav, as you will defeat him. and you overcome them, and you are victorious. Hagidna na shemeka. And then Yaakov asked the Malach, what's your name? And then the Malach says, the angel says, V'yomer lama zeh tish'al lishmi, v'yivarech oso sham. He says, why he asked my name? And he blessed him there. And it doesn't say exactly who blessed him. I mean, the blessing really has to come through Hashem. And the Malach saying, what is my name important? I'm just an eved of Hashem. I'm just a servant of Hashem. It's Hashem that controls everything. My name is unimportant. And sometimes the names of Malachim even change depending on what job they have. But the Malach, even the Malach in charge of all evil, is telling him it's all from Hashem. I'm just a servant of Hashem. So let's break this down a little. It's really fascinating. So what does it mean that he's all alone, that Yaakov's all alone and he's wrestling with this angel? So all of us have this battle. We're focused so much on our outer battles, our external battles, and we see the world, and I know I do this all the time. Like I see like these corrupt politicians, and I see all these things happening in the world, and it gets me really frustrated. But the true battle, if we really want to make the world a better place, the true battle is inside. All of us have this internal battle where we're choosing between the Yeitzer HaRah, an evil impulse, and the Yeitzer HaTov, the good impulse. And we hear this as just thoughts in our mind. And like we may have a thought like, oh, do this, do this Avera. I want to do this Avera. I really want to do this Avera. And then we hear the Yeitzer HaTov say, no, you should not do that. It's not good for you. And really, this is one of the importance of the Torah and the mitzvos they're lighting up for us the path of how to walk that path and get closer and closer to Hashem. And it keeps us out of danger. And it helps strengthen the Yeitzer HaTov. It helps us strengthen the Yeitzer HaTov. And we're all wrestling with this internal battle. And so what's key is it shows us that even the Malach that's in charge of evil, that has been given the role, that's tempting mankind and prosecuting mankind, and even Chas v'Shalom removing the neshama when Hashem commands him that someone has to die. But it's just a servant. It's just an eved. It's just this Malach is a servant of Hashem, and everything's coming from Hashem. Everything's coming from this compassionate, infinite being. And we can't be fooled into thinking that evil is all powerful, because we see that evil serves Hashem. And the evil is only there to be overcome. All the obstacles that we're given in life are only there for us to overcome them, for us to strengthen ourselves, like sparring with a boxing partner, to get better and better and strengthen the Yeitzer HaTov, and to come closer and closer to Hashem until we reach the level of Levado, where we see that it's all just from Hashem. And we see that this Malach in the morning, he wants to sing praises to Hashem. It's his turn. All the Malachim sing praises. They wait for the Jewish people to sing the praises in the morning in Shacharis when we daven the morning prayers. And then they repeat up in Shemayim these praises of Hashem. And we see that, right, even this Malach, we see that sometimes it seems like, the corrupt and the wicked are so powerful in this world, but it's all an illusion. And the way to defeat it all, it starts with making ourselves better. Fighting the battle within ourselves and choosing to be better people, choosing to be kinder and more compassionate and more giving people. And this helps bring us closer to Hashem. This makes us much more like Hashem, who's the ultimate giver. This infinite being that's created everything and is giving everyone life and giving everyone parnasa, wealth to live on and health, and all these great things are all coming from Hashem. And we start that inner battle and we make ourselves better. And that's the battle we start to fight. Before we fight those external battles, we need to win the internal battle. We're always fighting that internal battle to make ourselves better. And then we can start to make a better world. And that's what we all want to see. And then he says that he named the place Peniel, that it's like the face of Hashem. We can see this beautiful place, the Peniel, the face of Hashem, the face of God. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you back again on Sweet and Good Torah. All the best, and have a great Shabbos.